Landlord reporting.
He can reach that on this turn, but I've already moved in it, so I can't really do much about that.
Offspring of dragons.
Keep filling it with peasants for now.
Dragon. The celestial blacksmith.
Okay. Alright. Let's see. We've got Yin Yang evened out on this province. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. And move that to here. And we still haven't gotten the terracotta guys unlocked. Which happens if we can get the building to T4. Dude, even our main capital we started the game with is tier 3. That's crazy. That's crazy we're almost like at the victory condition and it's T3. Oh, that was a misclick. Cancel that. Okay, we need more Yang in this settlement. Let's do that. Repair that. Upgrade that one to T3. Don't know if I want to do that. Rebellion coming. Yep, we already know about that. Alright. K37, thank you for the Prime sub, dude. Appreciate the support. Welcome. Next playthrough, tier 1 only challenge run. Easy. Helman Gorst. He buffs the hell out of all zombies on the map. And then just go all zombies. I'm gonna take a little risk here. I'm just gonna auto this one. It says that there's no heavy losses. So they're all gone. Army replenish. Hoping, I mean, that was like freaking their 5th or 6th army in 2 turns. So I'm hoping they don't have any more ready to go. Yeah, Helman Gorst, you could just go all zombies. Let's see, Jade Crossbowmen with shields, Missile Warriors, for sure. WH succeeds. Faction destroyed Barrow Legion. Improved winches for crossbows. Alright. Bound Beast Spell. Okay. Alright. Let's go through these in order. Miao Ying. There's Lock here.
I stand apart. Resources for the bastion.
Alright, so we are in enemy lands and raiding them right now. So he will either move here to attack me or move here to defend the city. I'm going to hit that city on the next turn. The choice is his. Alright.
From the front.
We got Dennis out here.
Enforce the dragon's will.
And I don't really want this city, but we need, you know, it's XP and it's more kills and stuff. Let's see, plus leadership, put that on him.
Marching to war.
So destroy that just to mess with them. 6K, alright, sack it. Can I still occupy it after sacking it?
Blades.
The main reason I'm occupying it is just so that it will,
General of the celestial host.
what's the word I'm looking for? He will not take attrition damage on the next turn. Not because I actually care about keeping it. It's listed as inhospitable. It's a major pain to build there. Let's see, Yang Kiln. -1 construction time for Yang buildings. Sure.
The Celestial Empire ever improves.
Let's see, does it count towards the 30? Yes, it should. Yeah, 29 out of 30. Okay,
Celestial
Bell.
ancestors. I will not tolerate sloth.
If this is the dragon's will.
Okay, give her some better units. She'll just recruit for a little
Dragon-blooded
bit.
Shogunga.
And this one, keep getting more peasants. Peasants first, replace the better stuff later.
It is mine by blood right.
Same with her.
Shogungan Lord reporting.
Baozan.
Erect a shrine to our ancestors.
So we just had, so this city just had a rebellion and these ogres suddenly appeared. So they
My
are going to hit that
ancestors
city on the
require
next
it.
turn. It's kind of like, look at all that damage I'm going to take just getting over there. It's a very inhospitable area. So I may just lose it and then just be like, okay, whatever. Let's build that. Okay, and defensive supplies, ammunition. Yeah, let's get more defensive supplies for the city, or for the wall. Can marching camp stance. Yeah, it's an option. But if I do that, that's going to increase the chance I won't make it there before the rebellion. But it is what it is. Okay, enter. I gotta say, I don't understand much of what's happening, but it's nice to listen to you play. Thank you. Dude, I still feel like a noob in this game, and I've got almost 400 hours. It is just, it's a game with so much depth that you could play that long and still be like, oh shoot, man, I didn't understand how this worked at all. Plus the fact that every faction, like, you know, the basic controls are the same for everyone, but every faction has their own unique mechanics. You failed to spot the ambush. Okay. So one of my caravans is getting ambushed by ogres. Now, the ambush means that I can't see what they have. It might be weaker than me or stronger than me or the same. I don't know. So if I had hit auto battle, I had no idea of whether or not I was even going to win or not. Now, during an ambush, it's like your people weren't expecting a fight. So they're just walking along in a line, you know, like a procession. And then you get jumped. So you're very, like, out of position. And in the first few seconds of combat, so you're just marching, and the enemy kind of gets to attack you and you can't do anything to defend yourself for the first few seconds. So once it leaves widescreen mode, then I'll be able to play. I can turn the camera, but that's it. And we are surrounded right now.
Commander of cities!
Unfortunately, I think our archers are going to get absolutely shredded right here.
Move in formation!
What is this thing? Noblar Scrap Launcher. This is not going well. My faction is very reliant on its ranged units, and my ranged units cannot use their range right now.
Bringing harmony. Move in formation.
Jade crossbows! Understood!
I could run for the exit, unless I think that I'm gonna win this. I don't know.
Retreat! Withdraw!
An advantageous position!
Move in formation! Spears! Jade crossbows!
It must be order!
Now this is a caravan, so this the leader here doesn't have like any crazy magic or anything.
Never conquered! Marching as one! Warriors!
Never conquered! We obey!
Wind and fire! Repositioning! Move in formation!
Now, ogres are kind of what you'd expect.
Archers!
Very beefy melee units.
Jade warriors! For the Emperor! Cavalry!
Fortunately, like they're just my troops are so tangled up right now.
Warrior crossbows!
And you know, we got like this guy just bashing through my back line.
Celestial fury! By celestial decree!
Unfortunately, when you issue a command, like you tell this group of archers, like, hey, move here, because some of the units assigned to that squad are in there, it's like they're just tangled up really bad and they're not following orders well.
All to command!
Their lord is the guy with the picture, and he just died, so that actually is going to do a big hit to their morale, which is very good for me.
Wind and fire!
Their morale is the gray bar below the red bar. When the gray bar empties out, they start running, even when they still have health, like these guys right here.
Jade crossbows!
Shen Yang sends us!
Raise the dragons!
Jade warriors.
So you see, a lot of them are losing morale and running away, even though I'm very much in trouble right now. It's because they lost their leader.
Praise the dragon! No mind sharper!
Praise the dragons!
Seeking Cathay's foes!
Shen Yang's faithful!
Warrior crossbows!
Shen Yang's faithful!
Warriors, with joy! For the Emperor! Will of the dragons!
Okay, so there's a skull on that one. The skull means that that unit is fleeing and will not stop fleeing. Like, I could stop fighting them and they're gone. The white flag means they are fleeing, but they might get their will to fight again and come back.
By order stand!
Move as the wind! Celestial
Alright, I'm gonna send one
fury!
squad over toward that scrap launcher that's like a catapult thing.
March in ordered ranks!
Okay, so see, I just got a white flag on that unit, so I'm losing control of it right now.
Jade lanterns!
Stone and steel!
Okay, whatever these guys were chasing got killed, bring them back.
Steady, men! Heading out! To battle! Quick march! Order and balance! Go!
Okay, so they got a skull, so I can bring these guys back.
Move as wind!
Warriors!
Now, any group I could keep alive will slowly get replenished outside of combat. So even if like just one guy in a squad lives, it's worth trying to keep them alive.
Repositioning!
Minds as one! Bringing harmony! Marching as one!
Wind and fire! Jade crossbow!
Little dragons!
Need to bring some melee units back to protect the ranged ones.
Minds as one. Seeking Cathay's foes.
Cavalry. Repositioning.
My surviving cavalry are getting tangled up on some archers. I want them to bully this until it's either dead or it gets the skull.
Archers. Understood. Move in formation.
Prove as win!
Defenders of Cathay.
Warriors!
Cavalry.
The archers finally getting to do their thing, helping a lot.
Harmony.
These guys just got riddled with arrows.
Sun Yang's faithful.
Move as wind.
Bringing harmony.
Jade Lancer.
Okay, they got the skull on that. Bring them back.
Commander of cities. The personification of law. Taking position.
Okay, let's try to form up ranks a little bit.
Jade Lancers.
We're bashed, beaten, battered, and bruised, but not dead.
Seeking Cathay's foes. Sent by dragon. Shenyang sends us.
Is this game more real-time combat or turn-based real-time? Yeah, as Stinger said, when you're on the world map, it's turn-based, but in battle, you can pause it. You can even slow down or speed up time, but it is, you're issuing like orders in real time. But if you're, as long as you're playing on anything below the max difficulty, you could pause to think about what you're doing if you wish.
I am prepared.
The celestial faithful.
There we go.
Sound the retreat.
Okay. Now that was a caravan fight, so the army they ran into isn't going to be like chasing them down or doubling back to hit us, so I don't need to like run down their survivors. Yeah, dude, those scrap launchers, hundreds of kills. That was nasty. It's just, yeah, the fight started and my ranged units were just immediately sandwiched. It was the worst possible thing for them because I didn't get to set up. Very surprised you survived that. Yeah, it hurt. I don't know if it would have won on auto or not. Might have done better than I did, or might have done worse than I did. By sheer luck, every single one of my unit stacks had a survivor, which means as long as I don't get in another fight anytime soon, they will all recover. All right, replenish. Musterer, minus recruitment costs. Great Bastion, attack imminent. So the special mechanic for these guys is this is the Wall of Cathay. It's supposed to resemble like, you know, the Great Wall of China. It has this bar, and when it fills up, new armies spawn out here and attack you. So it's like, even if you've killed all the enemies up here, that's still going to happen. Like, that's their whole story thing. Their story beat is just they are dealing with constant attacks of chaos from the north. Cal says, I like the new game recommendations page, especially that you can start by most recent. Yeah, yo, the Mael, M-A-E-L, he did a great job with that. He did a really good job.
I decree death.
All right, so, wow, I thought this was going to be an epic final battle. This guy's got nothing. he's got absolute trash units. All right, auto. I was about to be like, so the final fight of the Dark Elves. This is gonna get rid of him, and then he was just like, yeah, I got 5 peasants. There it is. There it is. All right. My very first time playing Cathay. We have reached short victory condition on the max difficulty in the base game, legendary difficulty. We did reload. At full disclosure, there was one point where I reloaded because I lost my strongest unit because of a stupid mistake. And it was when we lost the Sky Junk. Some of you will remember it. It's like a blimp with guns. We lost that early on. And then I reloaded because of that.
Favored.
The only victory condition is painting the map. Yeah, but that takes like hundreds of hours. For anyone who hasn't seen it, the world map goes out this far. Okay? So that's a long time. But yeah, if I really like a campaign, like I'll keep going until I just get everything. What does short victory mean? Basically, the game is so long that you can choose when you feel like you've won and stop, right? So when I'm trying out these factions that are new to me, and I'm just like, you know, trying them and giving them a shot, typically I go until I hit the short victory condition, because that's kind of like, at that point I've kind of experienced most of it. Except in this case, I never got to I didn't even get to tier 4 stuff, much less tier 5, but like I understand the faction, right? But just for fun, there's a short victory condition. Long victory condition is I need to destroy 6 factions, and I've destroyed 5 of them, but the, here we go. The Dark Elves still have a surviving army on the water. That's the last faction, and then I would need 70 settlements. So I've got 30, so I would need 40 more. And then domination victory is just get the whole map to be yours. And that's it. Yeah, that is Cathay. That is Cathay. All right, let's see.
Ready to defend.
All right, let's talk about it. All right, let's talk. What did I think about this after all the others I've tried so far? First off, the Legendary Lords. The Legendary Lords are pretty cool. There's, you know, Miao Ying is the one that I played. She has healing magic, and I like healing magic. It was pretty neat. Talon was pretty cool because you could cast it even while you were in dragon form. The dragon form itself was a big thing of the Legendary Lords. It's pretty neat. They can't use their other abilities while they're in dragon form, but while they're in dragon form, they're really, really strong and a flying unit, so they can deal with enemy flyers. That was pretty cool. The second Legendary Lord, which I also got to try out because I confederated him, was Zhao Ming the Iron Dragon. He has metal magic, and the dragon form, and also regeneration, which is pretty neat. However, of course, they use the same troops. And if I look at the army he starts with, versus the army that Miao Ying started with, I'd absolutely take Miao Ying. Miao Ying is like, she started with a bunch of really powerful ranged units, like the celestial crossbows, the sky junk, which is like a blimp with guns on it, and all of her early fights was basically line up my dudes, and then the enemy walks in like to a firing line and got ripped apart. So like her, even on legendary difficulty, having never played her, her early game stuff was easy unless I made a stupid mistake, which I did one time. Compare that to who did I have to reload a bunch? Norska, Mother Asyanka of Kislev, and there's a few others that even like they're before level 10, I had to reload multiple times to figure out how to deal with an issue, because there was just like a really nasty battle to, you know, defeat your like early game, you know, your level 1 opponent. Mother Asyanka especially, I had to reload like 3 or 4 times. It was really nasty. But you know, Miao Ying's army just riddled him with holes. And I don't know if I've ever seen among all the factions another ranged unit that did good damage, had lots of ammo, that was armored, and also had shields. The shields mean, although graphically the shields are like strapped to their back, having a shield means you take way less ranged damage from your front. It's as if you pull out the shield anytime someone shoots arrows at you. So they could just be on the walls and shooting down at the enemy, and the enemy shooting up at them, and they were fine for a long time. So like they were a remarkably solid unit, the Jade Warrior shielded crossbowmen. I would say as far as sustain, this faction felt really bad. They do not have a hero that gives them replenishment. And speaking of heroes, this might be my least favorite set of heroes of any faction. The units, great. Lords, great. Cities, all right. Heroes, bad. The heroes were really bad. Like there was the what was there? We had the Astromancers, which is just guys with lightning magic, and the lightning takes a long time to like charge up and then strike, and it almost always misses unless the army is, it's like the enemy is already clashing with your forces and then you drop it on them. Unless that's happening, it will miss every time. And then look, he's got like nothing else. So that, he sucked. The Alchemist, some of the stuff later on is okay. This was trash. Is a very short buff on a unit, and then it's got like a 60 to 90 second recharge, and it's a single unit. So like this felt really bad. Again, we don't have anything that increases replenishment of our stuff. So there was a lot, you know, like this right here is way later on. There's a lot of turns spent healing and recovering health of our units. So that was kind of rough. So it really felt like I needed to try to win fights with range to take as little damage as possible because healing took forever. Like I specifically remember Dennis's army had like those lions, and there was one point where it took like 10 turns to get the lion's health back up. That was rough. Can I ask again what short victory means? So basically the games of this game last so long that they give you 3 options of like, you know, yeah, you could say you won. Short victory is different for every faction. For me, it's just like, okay, here's some objectives, and by the time you accomplish these, you'll have a pretty good understanding of how this faction works, and you could just say you won after that if you want. So, you know, to gain control of 30 cities, and then control these 6 locations, which are essential to the story of this faction, such as the Great Wall, right? And then long victory is destroy these, get 70 cities and destroy 6 specific enemies that are lore-wise big enemies for your faction. And then domination victory is literally take the whole world map, which, you know, that's like a 40-hour game. You know, it's kind of like playing Monopoly or Risk. You know, you could just say someone won after a while or just keep going until it's over, which takes way longer. It's just a matter of choice. But when I'm trying new factions, unless I really, really love one and want to keep going, I will typically go until the short victory condition. Okay, so Lords, pretty good. Heroes, I hated them. They didn't have a replenishment hero, and their moves were not good. The exception to that is there was a quest to acquire this one legendary hero, so you only get one of these, called Satang the Watcher. This guy was an absolute beast. He's a giant terracotta warrior, so he's like 80 feet tall, and he is an archer. So he's shooting arrows the size of like telephone poles. He was getting more kills than I've ever seen an archer hero ever get in this game. And he's low level. I don't even have all this stuff unlocked. And then when stuff would come up to him, he would just like leap on them. Like, something this big should not be this mobile, but he was insanely mobile because he would like leap around. So this guy, absolutely coolest hero this faction has, but all of the heroes that you're able to like make in abundance felt pretty bad. The yin yang thing. So if you had the same number of yin buildings as you did yang buildings in a settlement, they got bonuses. You can see the bonuses right here. They were pretty good. It was worth trying to do the yin yang balance. If you made all yin buildings, you would get certain buffs and debuffs. If you made all yang buildings, you'd get certain buffs and debuffs. If you kept them in balance, you got certain just buffs. And it was pretty good. So that was nice. I didn't hate that. Nangao, your main capital, being part of only a 2-city province, made it difficult to level it up. For example, if I go over here to Weijin, the growth for this city is 145 because it's got more places contributing to it. But this one, my main capital, has only got 90 growth, so it was growing more slowly. So even though we're so far into this, we didn't even get to the tier 4 stuff. So I had a couple of battles and stuff where I saw like, you know, the bigger units, but we never got to the point where we could start producing the bigger units. Like Celestial Dragon crossbows, the best crossbow unit for this faction. I started with 1 set of those. I kept them alive through the whole game, never got the ability to make more. And then the Sky Junk, we started with 1, never got the ability to make more. And Terracotta Warrior we saw in the cinematic. It's like the giant stone warrior. So pretty cool. The Great Wall mechanic, I thought it was pretty fun and engaging. I like how they set it up where if you have armies at the wall, the cost to maintain them is drastically reduced because of this building. And so you are not punished for having to keep because you have to pay your armies every turn. So typically by having armies just sitting up here on the turns they're not doing anything, that you'd be bleeding money. But because of the wall reduces the upkeep of the armies there, it encourages you to keep stuff there because they're going to see constant action. And it was fun. I liked that. I enjoyed the wall battles. The compass. Took me a while to understand this. Basically, whatever direction you point the magic compass, you will get all of these bonuses, and the bar fills. Whatever direction it's not pointed at, the bar is draining, and you get the top bonuses. So once I learned that, I found the 2 compass settings I liked the most, and I just kept swapping between them to try to keep both of them pretty powered up. Kind of a cool little thing. Once you figure it out, though, you're not really interacting with it much. The Ivory Road, the caravan system. So basically, you send a caravan out, and occasionally there's a caravan battle, such as the one that got ambushed by the ogres just like 1 turn ago. That was these guys. But if it doesn't get ambushed, or if it makes it to its destination alive, you get a ton of money. And I think the target gets some money too. And it has some interesting things, because like if I, for example, was playing this game for a long time and I swept left and killed all the ogres, I think there'd be no more ogre ambushes. Like if I took out all the enemies over here that I have, my caravans would be safer. So it could encourage you to push westward. Also, the items you get early on were crazy. One of my first trades was with Vlad von Karstein, the Vampire Lord. And he sent me back a Karstein blade. And that item was a game changer because it gave my legendary lord frenzy and regeneration. So then, even when she transformed into a dragon, she had regeneration, which was like allowed her to stay in battle for so much longer. So once I learned that like, oh, you get these crazy unique gifts when you do the caravan trades, I started making sure to do 1 caravan trade with every city. And as expected, we started getting showered in purple items that we could move around. So you can see there's the Angkor Chain from the Dwarves, Von Karstein Blade from the Vampires, Griffin Legion Lance from, I think, Bretonnia, Frostworm Skull from, I think, Norska. There was just so many neat little things here that we got, in addition to the usual quest purples that we got. Von Karstein's Blade first trade. We actually got it second trade because I traded with the dwarves first, but then someone's like, you want to trade with Vlad? And I was like, okay, so I traded with Vlad and got it. And I was like, all right. Yeah, so if I were to play this faction in the future, I would trade with Vlad first because that blade was insane and allowed you to just turn your guy into a dragon and charge the enemy and just go ham at the beginning of a battle. So the Ivory Road is pretty cool. However, they're reworking it. Literally, the day after I started learning this faction, they released a post that they were reworking the trade system to more closely resemble how the Chaos Dwarf convoys go. And I have not played Chaos Dwarf, so I don't know how their convoys go. But the way that this one works is you can only have 1 trade going at a time. The caravan guys in battle are awful, but as they level up, they get really nice stuff down here. For example, they can replenish life in foreign territory. That is something only like 2 legendary lords I know of have, which means when he's traveling on the caravan, they're getting health back every single turn. Better scales, you'll get more money for the trades. Cargo capacity, he can carry more cargo to do, more trades. So you see, like this army, the yellow, that's all the health they're going to get back on the next turn. So that's really cool. Also, you can't really control what's in the troops here. You occasionally get events that pop up, like, hey, they just found some ogre mercenaries. Do you want to hire some? So then you've got a couple of ogres in your army, stuff like that. But it's pretty cool. I enjoyed it once I figured it out. Research tree for these guys is massive, and it is slow. We are at this point of the game, and we only made it to like right here. Our research rate is currently 90%. I did see that there was some settlements. Let me see if I can find them. Like if I click on this right here, no, not the wall. One of the cities, perhaps? 1 second. Here we go. Research rate plus 7%. Now that's for a province. So that means this city and this city total are giving 7%. This province over here is 1, 2, 3 cities. So if I did the same commandment here, that means these 3 cities total would be providing 7% research speed. So even if I took my whole lands and put them on that research speed thing, I might go from 100 to 150. It wouldn't be huge. So in general, the research speed feels very slow for these guys. There are some cool researches, but it takes forever to get through this. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Wind shaper.
Not sure.
Celestial
Lords themselves, after trying them, I think the Yin Lord might be, the dragon-blooded Yin Lord, which is what Belle's hero was, might be my favorite one for like just the non-legendary ones you could recruit. She had an AoE slow she could hit enemies with when they're coming into like your firing line. The Blossom Wind gives her an attack spell. Ancestral Warriors. The Ancestral Warriors were ethereal, which means that they take half damage from a lot of sources. So they were great for just throwing them in the enemy line, doing damage, and not dying quickly. So that was, you know, they were good for that. She was very fragile though. Also, it was pretty cool that the legendary lords for this faction had what is it called? Sorry, my nose is a little runny. Was it melee expert? Like basically they knew martial arts. So even though she's a caster, and casters are usually vulnerable to someone getting in their face, she would just rock them with martial arts and stuff. And that's when she wasn't a dragon. So even when she wasn't a dragon and I had her casting spells, I had her meleeing on the front line with the Karstein Blade, and she was like decking people. It was pretty great. You can do a lone hero to steal tech and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that costs money every turn, but yeah, you can do that. So, let's see. Then there's these guys like, here, hang on a sec. Here, join Confederation. They accepted. Boom, there we go. All right. And how many lands do I have now? Let's see. Well, we just gained 7 more, so we're at 37 now. Yeah, so now we got a, because these guys that we just confederated were enemies of the dinosaur. Oh wait, no, so I'm not enemies of them anymore. Yeah, so we just got all of that. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed this faction more than I thought I would. I will say that I do, you know, it lacks some things I enjoy. It did not have a good way of recovering it. Like, their whole thing was kill the enemy before we get hit. That's what it felt like. And that's why I'm not sure if I would like the other legendary lords, because they have a more melee focus, which means they still suffer not being able to replenish their troops, but they're using melee, so they're taking more damage than Miao Ying was, because Miao Ying focused on ranged units. So I don't know. This is short victories, no achievement. Yeah, I mean, I might go for the farther achievement later on, but yeah, that was Cathay. Pretty freaking cool. It was kind of interesting seeing Village from the other side, because I played Village before and loved him, and yeah, he was a beast fighting him from the opposing side. It was also, of all the factions I've played, this is the one where I learned the most, despite the fact that I'm 400 hours into this, I learned the most about diplomacy. Like, I learned how to, like, do a trade deal and watch the faction slowly creep upward, and then, like, hey, do you want to do a peace treaty, and wait and let that sink in, and then you want to do, like, a defensive alliance, and then to the point where I confederated, like, 3 other Cathay factions. Because Cathay is broken up into many factions, and we got all of these. So that is awesome. Yeah, alright, so that's Cathay. I had fun. Definitely missed a few things I loved about it, but it was really enjoyable regardless. I'm going to save it here in case I want to come back to this. And we are off to the next one.